And we're back with another series of Let's Play. I'm your host, the RPG Guy, and we are continuing our epic saga as we follow the Daventry family in another King's Quest. That's right, King's Quest 6. Air today, gone tomorrow. The sixth installment of the King's Quest series. One of the favorites of a couple of people I know. Definitely one of the most ambitious King's Quest games to date. By the time this one came out, rather. Though I will say King's Quest 7 is arguably more ambitious. But anywho, we continue the story of Prince Alexander from King's Quest 3. And this game literally takes off not much longer after King's Quest 5. They should just call this King's Quest 6 Quest for Alexander's Giggity, because it is a Giggity of the Frishmorgan that brings him on this adventure. Well, anyway, I'm your host, the RPG Guy, and let's get started with the usual opening that we always have to kind of sit through, so we know what the story is really all about. Let's get started. Long ago, in the castle of a kingdom called Daventry. He's sitting on a different throne.
Alexander, here you are. Oh, you're still not thinking about Cosima, are you?
I suppose I am.
Son, it's been months. You've got to pull yourself together. After all, you only met her that once.
I know.
Have you discovered anything about the land of the Green Isles?
No. No one's even heard of it. It's like she's just vanished.
I wish I could help. Please try to think about something else, dear.
I'll try, Mother.
But the power of boners compels him. It compels him to get hard. Despite his family's concern, Alexander remains tormented by thoughts of Cosima. Dirty, naughty thoughts, yes, yes. So the same throne room from every King's Quest game we've played. Oh man, this is the second time. I know it. I know it. The second time this mirror has shown a hot babe that one of the Daventry members needs to. Giggity.
Alexander, I feel so alone. I don't know what to do. Alexander, I wish you were here.
Cosima! Wait! Mother! Mother, come quick!
As fast as your animations will allow.
Alexander, what on earth? You're white as a ghost.
Mother, I saw Cosima. She was in the mirror.
In the mirror? The magic mirror?
Yes! And it showed me how to find her.
How?
The stars! I saw the stars outside her window. I can navigate by the stars.
Oh, Alexander, if you really go...
It will be all right, Mother. I promise.
3 long months, Prince Alexander sailed the known seas and beyond. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the firmest of them all? So, yeah, for those of you who don't remember, at the end of King's Quest V, King Graham saves his family from the evil powers of the wizard Mordak, and one of Mordak's servants was actually a princess of Cosima, and was held prisoner by Mordak. And at the end, we see, Alexander and her getting a little close. Come to Butthead, come a little closer. Come to Butthead. So, as I said earlier, the powers of boner compels him to go on an adventure to find his lost Giggity. God, the music sounds very a la Sega Genesis, isn't it? I spy with my little eye. A whole lot of nothing. Oh boy. Oh, wait, what's this?
Land ho! Land ho! Land ho!
Land! This is where I know the land of hoes are. Yar whores be we landing for. Arr. Hours pass. Because it's taking them hours to get to the island. Slow, slow, over the seas, let's go, man. We're shoving right off again. But clearly nothing, it's a King's Quest game. Nothing ever goes as planned. As the ship nears the shore, day turns to night and the sea turns violent. Welcome to the land of the great fleshing. And so Alexander died in the crash, and I will say not a very long King's Quest game, but definitely one that had a little bit of story going for it. But it does end the timeline of Prince Alexander as he becomes Davy Jones. I'm fucking with you. He's gonna end up on the island. Come on. So we're getting a little credit roll. Yeah, it is funny though, if it made you think, if it could somehow make you think that. But yeah, this game also is noteworthy for having a famous voice actor in it. Which I grew up with in the 90s, and many of you know from a specific Disney film. When we meet that character, I will say something. I will point him out. And yes, I'll tell you who it is. I'm not going to be that big of a dick. But definitely, just like King's Quest 2, the mirror showed a hot babe, and then off they go to, you know, to go get her. And again, by ship too. It's almost like it's like a continuation, not a continuation, but
Alexander awakens to find himself on an unfamiliar beach.
Like father, like son.
For a moment, he is too dazed to remember how he got here. Then he does remember the shipwreck, the sea. Just as he had seen his men safely into the lifeboats, a gigantic wave picked him up and tossed him overboard into the churning sea. That was the last he'd seen of his crew. Debris from the shipwreck is scattered along the shore, but of the lifeboats and his men, there is thankfully no trace.
Lame.
He can only hope and pray that the lifeboats survived the currents, and that his men made their way safely back to Daventry.
In a rowboat? You fucking kidding me? It took 3 months. They're gonna rowboat for less than 3. Okay, that's one beef I have. They're not rowboating their asses back to Daventry. Don't give me that shit.
Alexander picks up his royal insignia ring from the beach. The ocean appears calm, but there's a dimpling pattern to the surface which indicates an undertow.
Toes.
A long plank lies on the beach. No doubt it once belonged to Alexander's ship.
Let's move this plank.
Alexander pushes the plank to one side. A box has been partially buried under sand.
You don't say.
The box must have opened in the sea, spilling its treasure. Everything has been washed away, except for one coin of Daventry. Alexander takes the coin and leaves the ruined box where it is.
Yoink. So we've got 2 items on us. We've got...
Alexander's ring is made of the purest gold and has the insignia of the royal family of Daventry on its face.
And we got...
Alexander is carrying a copper coin of Daventry. King Graham graces the front of the coin.
All right, let's move. Now, you'll notice we walk pretty slow, so we're going to be putting a stop to that. Strangely enough, in King's Quest VI, the settings for the walking speed are actually kind of halfway instead of most of the way, so we can just kind of... We don't need to crank it all the way. We want to keep it somewhat within the realm of reality, even though that is pretty fast. Can we stay here? Didn't seem like it did anything. We'll leave it at this speed, though, because, yeah, he walks really slow in this game. Even so, as much as Graham did in King's Quest V.
Alexander is standing in front of a fabulous castle. The path from the crossroads leads to the castle entrance. The entrance is being guarded by two dog-like creatures.
Woof woof, bow wow.
Alexander politely addresses the odd-looking guards at the castle doors, hoping to learn more about his predicament.
Good day to you, guards. I was cast upon this island in a storm, and I'm a little confused about my location. Could you tell me what place this is and who lives in this castle?
Hey, what is that you say? A castaway? A likely story. We haven't had any foreigners in this part since Alhazred arrived.
Don't be so rude, Gruff. He's not asking for any secrets. You're standing on the Isle of the Crown, lad, and this is the Castle of the Crown. The royal family resides here. Rather, what's left of the royal family.
The Isle of the Crown? But tell me, am I anywhere near the land of the Green Isles?
This is the land of the Green Isles. The Isle of the Crown is the main island, foolish boy.
Then Princess Cassima must live in this very castle.
Aye, the princess is indeed our treasured jewel to guard, and we consider it an honor.
Okay, so if we want to get anywhere with any of this, let's use this guy.
Alexander decides to show his royal insignia ring to the Castle of the Crown guards. With all of his papers lost in the shipwreck, it is the only possible calling card he can think of.
Good day. I'm Prince Alexander of Daventry. I'm an acquaintance of Princess Cassima. If you could just inform her that I'm here, please.
So everyone says. Let me just look at that ring.
What does it say, Gruff?
Kingdom of Daventry, Prince Alexander. Wait here while I go see what Captain Saladin thinks of this.
Now, excuse me, I demand that you all call me your thickness, because I be thick. So here's the famous voice actor, Tony J.
The guard returns a moment later with a majestic-looking creature. Captain Saladin speaks with a voice that is gentle, but reflects a will of iron.
Prince Alexander of Daventry, I presume. I'm afraid I'm unfamiliar with your country, but I'm sure Vizier Alhazred will want to meet you, if indeed you are a friend of the princess. Please, follow me.
For those of you wondering, Tony J's the voice actor. His most famous role that people know him from are either villains in 90s cartoons, or he is...
Lord Alhazred, a visitor to see you.
Frollo
Prince
from...
Alexander of Daventry.
Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame.
What is it that you seek, Prince Alexander?
Pardon the intrusion, my lord, but I came to see Princess Cassima. Some months ago, my father, King Graham, saved my family and I from imprisonment under an evil wizard named Mordak.
The same wizard that kidnapped the princess?
Exactly. When my father rescued us, he also liberated Cassima and sent her home.
Then your father has my gratitude, and that of the entire kingdom. But I'm afraid I still fail to see the purpose of your visit.
Well, I came to make sure that Cassima arrived safely and to pay my respects. Before we parted, she gave me an invitation to visit.
I have no doubt she did exactly that at the time, Prince Alexander. However, things have greatly changed for Cassima since her ordeal in Mordak's castle. Casima's parents both became ill and died while she was gone. Casima is sequestered in mourning for them as befits a princess. She is not receiving visitors of any kind. Even if she were, I do not think your visit would be appropriate. You see, it is time for Casima to take her responsibilities seriously. With her parents gone, she no longer has the luxury to be a carefree maiden. As was her parents' wish, Casima and I are to be wed. We shall rule the kingdom together. I assure you, our marriage is all Casima wants now. As a prince and a gentleman, it would be best that you leave before there is any further embarrassment.
I see. I suppose that I was mistaken. I thought for certain that Casima... Well, I apologize.
A young man sees what he wishes to see. I'm sorry you've wasted your time traveling to the land of the Green Isles. May your journey home be swift.
Perhaps I will take the opportunity to look around your fair land while I'm here.
I would advise against that. The kingdom is rather, shall we say, inhospitable these days. But it is your neck. You may risk it if you please. Captain Saladin will escort you from the castle. Good day.
Now keep an eye on that. If you didn't see the guy standing in between them with the two cold eyes, that's important.
You have had your hearing with Vizier Alhazred. I trust you will respect his wishes and not return. I have been instructed not to let you into the castle again. Good day, my lord.
Captain Saladin whispers something to the guard dogs at the castle gate, and they nod with understanding. Alexander has a feeling they won't be letting him into the castle again.
Well, that's kind of a shitty deal. Let us continue. Well, let's go explore the island, because clearly we ain't getting any poo-tang tonight. Oh, Casima. Let me see you, baby. Give me that hot lovin'. Yeah, so the voice actor of Saladin is Tony J, famous for his role in The Hunchback of Notre Dame as Judge Frollo. You know, hellfire, dark fire.
Old lamps for new. Old lamps for new.
That's wonderful. We don't have a lamp to trade you, so get fucked, old man.
Good day.
Dude, he's totally sounds like, what's his name from Futurama? The bureaucrat guy. Oh, I can't think of his name.
Good day, merchant. What can you tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
I can tell you she is in a dark time. Without the ferry, communication between the islands has ground to a halt, and so nearly has my business. Why the long ages of peace have ended, and why the crown has not done something about it is beyond me. But then, I am a shopkeeper, not a politician, and can only hope for better days.
Alright, so...
If Alexander wants to exchange one of his possessions for an item in the pawn shop, he'll have to arrange it with the pawn shop owner first by showing him the object for trade.
God, I did that.
I have this copper coin. Is it of any value to you at all?
Most interesting. I have never seen a Daventry coin before, but it is copper genuine enough. I might even find a buyer who is interested in foreign currency. The items on the front counter are the only things in the store that I can let go for the price of 1 copper. You may make your choice from there.
Alexander
okay.
looks at the items on the counter to make his selection.
So let's take a look at these goodies.
Have you an interest in tinder boxes? This one is only slightly battered. It holds a good supply of flint, a sturdy striking pad, and even a candle in case you find yourself with naught else to hold the flame. Ah, yes, the painter's brush. It was well used by one of the island's best painters. There's a lot of creativity in that brush, and its bristles are still in good condition. The flute is only made of plain wood, but its notes are fine and true.
He's a king too.
I see you have noticed my mechanical nightingale. She is made of plain tin, but she sings the sweetest song you can imagine, barely distinguishable from the real thing.
All right, well, we'll take that. Sounds
That
fancy.
mechanical nightingale looks intriguing. I believe I'll take it.
Very well. Your coin is well spent. Remember, this is a pawn shop. I am always willing to take back my own goods in trade.
I'll remember. Thank you.
An elegant little glass dish decorates the countertop. The dish is full of green mints offered for the enjoyment of the customer.
Oh, man, give me some of them Andes, baby.
Alexander takes a mint.
All right. Let's go ahead and head on out. And we'll check the other store.
Hello. I will be right up. Now, what can I do for you?
Let's start with this.
There's a small table near the door that bears a sign. The sign has undergone a number of changes. It once read 10 pence, but that was crossed out and replaced with 5 pence, then 1 pence, then free. The sign currently reads, "Take one, please." Only one book remains on the table. It looks like the bookshop owner really wants to get rid of that book.
Oh, man, it must be a book on politics. Let's take it.
Alexander picks up the book from the small table.
Oh, yes, please, take that book. You have my most humble thanks for doing so, good sir.
Really? Thanks.
An old man occasionally steals sidelong glances at Alexander from under a concealing hood.
Let's take a look over here.
Volumes of poetry are on display on this bookshelf.
Ooh, let's take a look at the poetry. If you notice, this guy, he had the little glowing eye there. Keep the glowing little gold eye. Keep that in mind as we progress through
Thinking
the
of
story.
Cosima, Alexander decides to leaf through one of the volumes of love poetry. He reads, "Thy hair, thy lips,
no.
thy beauteous
No.
face, and all thy studied female grace
No.
have won for thee anon a place within this broken breast." Not bad. And another.
Oh, no, please,
Upon
stop.
the shore the lilies bend, untouched by worldly care, where shadow they her earthly bed. Oh, that she were not there. Yikes. And another. What was it when I looked at you? What power has chained me through and through, and binds my heart with links so tight I cannot live without the sight of you? What nameless thing has captured me, and made me powerless to flee? What thing is it without a name, that brings my mind e'er back the same to thee? The name of love cannot apply. Its commonness does not decry the haunted, hunted, painful cry that my heart makes for you, that e'er my soul eternal makes for you.
A little close to home, that one.
Alexander returns the love book to the shelf.
You know, I'm a true master of poetry. Roses are red, violets are blue. When I rip off my pants, I'll do unspeakable things to you. Okay, I'm a monster. What's this?
A page has fallen from the poem book and now lies on the floor. Alexander picks up the fallen page. It's the love poem he particularly liked. It must have fallen out of the poetry book.
I see that old volume has lost another page. You may keep it if you like, sir. I have glued the stubborn thing back in place 2 times already.
I do rather like it. Thank you, merchant.
Each time I glue it in, I masturbated furiously. Furiously! Because I don't actually
Good
have
day,
glue.
sir. I'm a stranger in this land. What can you tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
That is quite a question, young man. Who are you, and what would you have me tell you?
My name is Alexander. I know I'm on the Isle of the Crown, but I'd like to know whatever you can tell me about this island, and if there are other islands nearby.
Like Gilligan's Island.
You are indeed a stranger. Anxious is the man who knows not the customs of the land beneath his feet. This island is called the Isle of the Crown because the royal family's castle is here. Besides the castle, we also have this village and the docks over to the west. There are at least 3 other islands: the Isle of the Sacred Mountain, the Isle of the Beast, and the Isle of Wonder.
At least 3?
No Gilligan's
Does
Island?
no one know for certain?
No!
This is no ordinary land, Alexander. The land of the Green Isles has always been a place of vague boundaries, as if islands come and go. Legend speaks of a 4th island, an isle shrouded in mists. I myself have never seen it. Then, too, the land of the Green Isles is said to exist on the boundaries of this world and the next. Even darker places are reputed to be closer here than anywhere else in the world.
That's quite a claim.
Claim, yes, but probably just local superstition. We who live here on the Isle of the Crown, at least, sleep well enough at night.
Those first 3 islands you mentioned, how might I learn more about them?
Ideally, a young man seeking such knowledge would travel to their shores and learn about them firsthand. Meeting the leaders of each place would be helpful, naturally. Unfortunately, the ferry no longer runs between the islands. There has been much political unrest, and it has been too dangerous to travel for years. Perhaps the ferryman can tell you more. He has little enough to do these days. And if you haven't been there already, you might seek an audience at the castle.
Thank you kindly, merchant, for all your good advice.
Ah, but advice is free, Alexander. Making use of it costs much more.
So yeah, anybody who's stuck, it would appear the bookshop owner Ali might be able to guide us to the right direction.
An antique leather-bound book is displayed on a little stand on the counter. On the elaborate cover is the title, Ye Useful Book of Magic Spells.
How much for that book on the counter, merchant?
It is a fine book, is it not? I obtained it from the estate of the one and only magician this kingdom has ever had. Poofed himself into an aardvark in the end, or so I heard. I never found the spells all that useful myself, but then I lead a boring life. I tell you what, if you can find another rare book, something a bit more marketable, I might be willing to exchange the spell book for it.
A book of infinite porn. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll skedaddle out of here. And then we will head this way. And this way. As I'm cleaning out my ears at the same time as all that dialogue was going on. Now, I don't know if you noticed.
Hey, stranger, come join me. The water is wonderful, and I can show you the way to the next island.
You might notice...
A young boy is happily swimming in the sea off the docks.
Come on, jump in. A little water won't hurt you.
Man, that voice sounds familiar too. You might notice the eye is a weird gold color.
That's strange. The young boy in the water just disappeared. Oh well, perhaps he just dove under the water.
And turned into a plume of smoke.
Yeah, what do you want?
Yeah, what do you want?
Alexander promises.
Excuse
There we
me.
go.
My name is Alexander. The owner of the bookshop in the village told me you might be able to help me. I hear you used to run this ferry for the islands. I'd like to talk to you if you have a moment.
You say old Allie sent you? I can't see why. The ferry's not running, you know.
I understand. I'd just like to talk to you about the islands if you don't mind.
Well, I guess it'd be all right if Allie sent you. Well, don't just stand there. Come on inside.
I'll put a bit of tea on the fire. I'm just kidding.
What is it you wanted to talk about, young man?
Here we go.
I'm a visitor to these islands. I'd like to learn what I can about the area.
So you said outside. What is it you want to know?
Well, for one thing, why has the island's only ferry been dry docked?
Huh. It just ain't safe to sail these days. What with the islands feuding and all. Wazir Al-Hazred ordered the ferry closed till things settled down. Me, I don't think she'll ever see water again.
But why are the islands feuding?
You got me. Something about stolen property or some such thing. 'Tis a real shame. Things used to be so friendly.
Then this unrest is recent.
A few years is all, but it's been long enough.
Perhaps if the ferry were repaired.
This old thing? This ferry's been out of water so long she's no longer even seaworthy. Her boards have dry rot. She'd fall apart at the first taste of seawater.
But there must be some way to get off this island.
There's only one other way to travel that I know of. A magic map. The owner of the pawn shop can tell you more about that than I can, Alexander.
So that gives us some info there.
There's a rabbit's foot on the table. It seems the ferryman is counting on a little luck. There's nothing of interest. There's nothing...
Come on.
There's nothing of...
I see you have a rabbit's foot. Has it brought you much luck?
As you can see, my luck's been out for some time now, despite that old charm. Why don't you take it with you? Perhaps giving the darn thing away will bring me good fortune at last.
Perhaps it will at that. Thank you.
All right.
Tell me more about the ferry.
I remember when I used to ferry Queen Ilaria and Princess Cosima themselves. There was no thought of danger back then. They used to go visiting to care for the needy and to keep up the friendly relations between the islands. I remember their last trip. Things had started getting nasty by then, and when they came back aboard, I gathered that the Queen and the Princess had been received a bit coldly. Princess Cosima was such a pretty thing, and she was terribly upset. But who could be spreading these lies, she asked the Queen, but the Queen had no answer.
Okay.
What do you do now that the ferry no longer operates?
Me? I'm out of a job. The job my ancestors have held for generations. I'm the only one trained to avoid the reef and the rocks. But that knowledge does me no good now.
Is there no other boat on the island? One that might be more seaworthy?
Boats don't last long on these shoals, as you may have found out if you got here by ship. You can be quite sure that this old ferry is, or was, the only craft on the island.
Yeah, it's pretty lame.
Well, I think I'll be going now. Thanks for allowing me into your home.
Posh, not at all. It breaks the boredom, if you know what I mean.
So we got a little bit of information with that. So clearly the other islands here are not boding so well, but we do have a little bit of a direction for us to go, and it's back to the merchant because he's holding out on us ever so slightly. Not that he was actually holding out on us, but that he has something we kind of want.
Day.
All right, let's talk to him.
Excuse me, merchant, but the ferryman mentioned that you might have a magic map of the land of the Green Isles.
Why, as a matter of fact, I do. I keep it under the counter. It's been gathering dust so long that I nearly forgot about it. It was quite a few years ago, you see. The estate of a wealthy wizard fell into my hands when he died. It was useless magical junk mostly, which reminds me, I've still got some things of his in the back that I need to dump out. Anyway, the magic map was the one true treasure in the lot. The wizard was quite old and feeble and had enchanted the map to aid in traveling. It is said that one need only desire to be on an island depicted on the map to find oneself there.
Nice.
It is a very valuable map, as you can imagine. Unfortunately, no one is interested in traveling these days. It is far too dangerous with the current state of the kingdom.
What would you take for the map?
I would normally want something magic in return, but since I am hardly overrun with prospective buyers, I would be willing to take anything of equal value in exchange.
Equal value, he said. Everybody wants something of equal value, so let's see. It's got to be pretty valuable. The most valuable thing we've got would be this guy.
Would you be willing to take my family ring in exchange for the magic map?
Daventry, are you a king then?
No, that's my father, King Graham. I'm just Alexander.
Well, Prince Alex, she is a beautiful ring. Are you sure you can part with such a unique family heirloom?
The ring does mean a lot to me. I didn't always have a family, you know. Still, it is only gold. There are more important things at stake now.
Then you now own a magic map, Prince Alex. I will keep your ring out of sight for a few days. If you find anything else of great value in your travels, you can come back for your ring. I would hate to see it melted down for gold. And a warning about the map. It will only operate when you are out in the open and within sight of the sea. The limitation has something to do with the teleport spell ingredients. You might try the beach.
Thank you. You are very kind, and I'll remember about the map.
Interesting.
Suddenly, the old man in the concealing cloak sneaks past Alexander, and with a sneaky dart of his hand, steals a mint from the candy jar. The old man stuffs the mint into his mouth and wobbles unsteadily out of the pawn shop.
What the hell? Seconds later, in the castle.
Master! I followed Prince Alexander as you wished. From the pawn shop owner, he just abstained, just reprieved. He just got a magic map. You fool! You've been eating those mints again. I ordered you to stop that. Yes. Master. Now, what is this about a magic map? With a map, Prince Alexander could travel anywhere as quickly as I can. I thought I took care of the only means of travel. By my scimitar, I can't have him stirring things up now. Get a hold of yourself and listen carefully, Shamir. Go to the other islands and tell them...
Tell them what? We won't know, but we now have the magic map. We're not quite done yet. There's one other thing we need to do before we, in a sense, move on. You'll notice the lamp salesman is left, which is fine. And then we'll head back this way. Let's go ahead and examine this.
Alexander sorts through the odds and ends that the pawn shop owner dumped into the pot. Magic exploding gum wrappers, a shattered crystal ball, a cracked wand, a fake thumb. Near the bottom, Alexander finds a little glass bottle labeled ink. It appears to be empty, but Alexander decides to take it anyway. You never know when a small bottle will come in handy.
You never know, indeed.
Alexander's carrying a little ink bottle. It appears to be empty. The rabbit's foot has long, soft fur. The magic map is made of thin leather and has lifelike drawings of the islands on its uneven surface.
Very good. All right. So, we've pretty much collected for now all that we can really collect on the Isle of the Crown. So, with that said, we are now free to move about the country. So I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/JectarStudios for more live gaming action, because when we come back, we hunt for Gilligan's Isle. No, I'm just kidding. We start exploring what all of the Green Isles has to offer, with only 7 items in tow. But like any King's Quest game, we will probably have a use for all of it. So anyway, thanks for stopping by, guys, and we'll see you guys next time.